Good morning. Grab your ball for me, please. Let's just start in a wide stance with that ball right below our knees, and then walk those feet in from that wide stance so that you are in parallel. Let's roll those shoulders up, back, and down a couple times. Create or remove any tension you might have in that upper back. Make it a little bit bigger. Use those elbows and those arms. Good. And then with that ball still there, go ahead, come on down, roll through your nutmeg and your Elsie, roll through your cat and your cow. Beautiful. Come on up, standing position, walk those feet in a little closer if you can so you really feel those inner thighs. Then shift that weight onto that left leg, or excuse me, right leg. Make sure the hip isn't scooted out, so I want you to tuck it under. And we're going to do that again. Tuck it under, tuck it under, tuck it under. Now, if you don't knock yourself over, I want you to squeeze the ball for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here's your challenge. Put those together. As you squeeze the hip under, you squeeze the ball in. So you squeeze under and squeeze in, squeeze under and squeeze in. So both hips are kind of coming toward each other, adduction, but one is coming from a tuck, and then the other is coming from the inner thigh move. So one should be outer hip and thigh, the other should be inner thigh. Whatever you want with your hands, they can be flying in the wind, they can be here. You could do some movement with them if you want. Yes, you can do your chicken. Almost there, because this hip is probably working, feeling it. Last 2 and last 1. Weight goes onto your left foot. Yeah, rub that, give that right hip a little love. And then let's start simply with just tucking the hip under, tucking the hip under, tuck it under. One more time, tuck it under. And then squeeze in for 4. Yes, you're adorable. 3, 2, and 1. And then both together, we tuck and squeeze, tuck and squeeze. Tuck and squeeze, tuck and squeeze, tuck and squeeze. Keep it going. So this outer hip area and this inner hip or thigh. 4 more. Last 2 and last 1. Give that hip a little love. We'll give each of them a little stretch. So right over left, ball up in that right hand, arms go up and over, hips go the other way. Roll it down if that would feel good to you. Come back up. Left over right, up and over you go. Press the hip away, and then roll it down and around if that would feel good. Beautiful. All right, let's just do one teeny little, no, change my mind. We're going to do it from here, which would be even more miserable. Come on down onto your ball. Sit on your ball. Find your balance as best you can. Left leg is going to go slightly off to the left. If you need to, you can end up holding on to it like this, whatever is going to end up working for you. Right leg is going to go straight, and it's not right ahead of you. It's not way out on an angle, just a little of an angle. And then rotate to the sky. Make sure that you can't see your ball, right? You want to be sitting forward so that your hips are leaning back, or excuse me, your hips are tipped. And then we point those right toes. Whatever you need to do for balance, lift that right leg off the ground. Flex and point, flex and point, flex and point. One more time. And leave it pointed. Bring it in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Flex, bring it in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Point it, lift. Flex it, lift. And relax. That should have been enough. Drop over. You can bring that ball underneath your left side if you want for some nice support. Try and get that right leg behind you. Try and get the knee further back than the hip. Notice that the hip rotated open. Try and press that forward. Goodness gracious. Pull that heel close to your hip. See how close you can get the heel to the hip, if that would feel okay with you. And then lift that right arm up, open it a little bit behind you, bring it back to center, reach further overhead, bring it down, give yourself a little rotation here. You can let that top hip rotate down, changing the angle here, and come back to center and tuck the rib and the hip together. Woo. And then come on up. And we're going to sit back up on that ball. If at any point I'm not entertaining you, just watch this child being ridiculous. All right, right leg is in, left leg is out. And again, it can be out on a slight angle, sit nice and tall, point through those toes, abs in, make sure you're towards the front of the ball with the leg up, point it, flex it, point it, flex it. And then in and out with a point. In and out with a flex. And then come back to center, point and lift. I think I'm embarrassing her. And flex. You're a 14-year-old girl. And bring it down. All right. And then we're going to lean over on that right side. Left leg goes behind us. Get a good stretch in that hip flexor and that quad. Try to bring that heel a little closer. Pivot that hip. Then that arm comes up. You can reach to the back of the room. Come back to center. Roll forward and down. You can let that hip rotate a little bit forward also. Then bring it up. Rib and hip together. And we're sitting up. All right. Let's go ahead and stay in that seated position for now. Take that ball and create a nice little support, if you can, for your tailbone. I have very slippery pants on today, apparently. All right. So we're leaning back, so we're in a very supported position. I'm having to use my abs, but I shouldn't have to use my low back much. Shoulders, so since we're in that good alignment, let's check, make sure the shoulders aren't rounded, lift them up, back, and down. Make sure the ears aren't ahead, so they're over those shoulders. Then gently pull those ribs down, and then we're just holding here. We're going to open the arms into a T, and we're going to tap the knees. Then we're going to see if we could open them into a V and tap the knees. Then we're going to try that I up overhead, and then tap the knees back to your T, tap, V, tap, I tap, and then keep that going. If you're getting low back issues, come up a little or give me a little more curl through the spine. And then relax. Give me a good curl, press into the ball, get a low back stretch, mid back, upper back, and then go ahead and pull yourself all the way up. All right, we are coming down onto our spine. You're just gently going to bring that ball between your knees. Walk the big toes to touch. Thank you for joining us. All right, and then fingertips to your abs. Deep breath in. On the exhale, pull those knees toward each other. Squeeze that ball for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the squeeze. Let's do it again. Squeeze and hold. And release. And one more time. Squeeze and hold. And release. As you do that squeeze, I'm hoping that you notice that there's a little more abdominal activation here. So here we go. Adding on. Hands on your thighs, deep breath in, exhale, squeeze the ball, lift the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground, arms out in that T position. Exhale down, release the squeeze, deep breath in. Exhale, lift as you squeeze, try a V. And relax as you come down. Exhale, squeeze and lift, may the arms go up overhead in an I. And exhale, come down, release the squeeze. Here we go again. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Try that T if that's okay with you. And relax. If that's okay with you, stay there. Otherwise, squeeze and try the V. Both shoulders off the ground. And exhale down. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift. This time, try those arms up overhead. and exhale down. One more round like that. Exhale, lift, in T on an inhale. Exhale down, deep breath in. Exhale, lift, arms in a V. Exhale down. And lastly, lift it up, arms up overhead, and relax. Let's lift those legs in tabletop. Heels are going to be together. Knees are obviously apart just about hip width because we're squeezing that ball. And then we're letting those hips go side to side, but keeping those toes lifted up in the air. Keeping a good tight squeeze on that ball. This allows us to do this rotation without using, sometimes we use our upper leg to help lift us back up, but this keeps us honest. One more time, and then back through center. Close those ribs down, pull the abs in, maybe a little bit of a tuck as you go into your toe touch. Knees move forward and away from your body. It's a thigh movement. Exhale, come back up, squeezing that ball. Inhale, legs move away, abs are flat. Exhale, squeeze the ball as you come up. And again, here we go. Move those legs away. Exhale, squeeze to come up. Move those legs away. Exhale, squeeze to come up. One more like that. Legs move away. Exhale, squeeze, come up. Give it a little hug. We're going to put those last two exercises together. And there are a couple of ways we're going to do it. We're going to do it, we'll call it the hard, more miserable way. So legs stack tabletop. They're going to move a little bit to the left. And then without tucking my heels down, right? I'm going to stay in that right angle. I'm going to do a toe touch over to my left. Only the left pinky toe will get close. Come back up to center. Deep breath in. Exhale. Pull the belly button in. Inhale. Knees move over. They exhale away. They're going to inhale back up. Exhale, center. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, belly button in. Inhale to the left. Exhale, knees move away. Inhale, they come back up. Exhale, center. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, belly button pulls in. Over to the right. Move away. Back to center. And then now we're going to change it just a little bit. So legs go to the left. Inhale, legs move away. Exhale, up into center as you go. Over to the right. Inhaling as you move away. So we took away that pause in the middle. You don't have to take that away, right? But you can choose to do so. So this one should be pretty challenging on your obliques as you do this one. Good. After you finish the next one to the right, come back to center, place the ball between your ribs and your thighs, and give it a squeeze. Good. Feet go down on the ground. Let's lift that left leg in tabletop. Put the ball against the left thigh. Press your hands against the ball. And this is going to turn into our miserable single leg stretch because we are creating an isometric contraction. As I press with my hands, I push with my leg, both at the same time, so there's no actual movement. And then that right leg is reaching. Head, neck, and shoulders can stay on the ground. You're certainly welcome to lift them, but there's already a lot going on. Abs should be pulled in and nice and flat. Inhale, switch it up. Press against that right thigh, reach through those left toes. Really create a strong contraction, pushing with your hands, pressing against the ball, using your triceps, using your hip flexor. Inhale, switch. Exhale, reach through your right toes. Inhale, switch. Exhale, reach through the left as you create tension on the opposite. So just keep that going. You inhale as you switch legs. You exhale as you stretch through a leg. And keep going. Please. And relax. Ball behind the thighs. This time, hug them in. Take a little rock side to side. All right, and then we're gonna move that ball back between the lower leg, right? So it's below the knees. Exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come off the ground. Inhale, extend those legs, reach the arms overhead, double leg stretch. Drop your heels, sweep your arms. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, tap. We're gonna add on. This time open, and now squeeze the ball 4 quick times. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale to bend. Inhale, stretch, reach, and squeeze, 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 squeeze. And tap. Again, stretch and reach and squeeze, 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 squeeze. And tap. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Open and squeeze, 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 squeeze. Grab that ball. Bring those legs down for just a second. We're going to come back to that in just a moment. But before we do that, we're going to go back to our toe touch with a second variation. So this time, could you put your ball either on your ribs, have it stay there, or you could put it at your belly button, sink your abs, but wherever you put it, it doesn't get to rest up against your thighs like that, right? But we are going to lift those thighs up and then figure out where your ball needs to be. So this gives you that awareness of keeping those ribs and those abs flat. And then you alternate legs moving away one at a time. Or both legs for double leg toe touch. Take a break. We're going to go back to that double leg stretch that we did a moment ago. This time the ball is in your hands, legs are in tabletop, hands up to the sky, deep breath in. Exhale, float the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground. Inhale, extend arms and legs. This time when you exhale, tap the ball to the knees. Inhale, stretch and reach. Exhale, tap the ball to the knees. And then this time, if you want, tap the ball to the knees and then see, could you roll the ball to your ankles and then back to your knees and then extend. So try a couple of those if you want. If that doesn't work for you, if it pulls too much on your low back, don't even worry about it. Good. And then we're going to come back down. This time for toe touches, we're going to put ourselves in that pelvic tilt, but we're going to be on that wobbly ball. So we're going to lift our hips up, place that ball underneath our tailbone so that we have a little bit of pelvic tilt here. Hands down by your sides, then legs in tabletop, and you can see should already be wobbly. Bring your hands up and you can see how very wobbly it is. So your challenge would be hands off the ground. If that causes you to fall off the ball, then please put your hands back down. And then you can try that single leg toe touch, that single leg heel flex, both legs at the same time. Both legs at the same time, heels, both legs at the same time, no hands, mom. So we've got lots of options here. Give me 2 more of whichever one you've chosen to do. And then this time, when you hug your knees in, you're going to put the ball down near your ankles. Take a little break. And we're going to keep the ball there. We're going to curl our forehead. We're going to roll like a ball. Exhaling to roll. Inhaling, a little pause at the top. And last time we come up, we're going to put the ball on the mat and sit up on it. So we can get a really nice spine stretch using the ball because it's going to lift our hips, and because we're going to roll forward just a little bit like that to allow those hips to be slightly tipped. And then you might start with a bent knee, give yourself a hinge forward. You can start to straighten those legs, totally up to you. And you can even roll all the way so that you actually roll off the ball, but because your glutes are still up on it, or mine are, it gives you that tip. And then we'll sit up nice and tall. We're going to go from there directly over onto one side. You're going to have your ball right in front of you. We're going to be doing a side plank for this first one. So go ahead and give yourself extra support if you need. Let's take care of that shoulder by pushing it back, lifting up out of it, engaging those lats. And then you guys have all been with me for a good while. So you choose your favorite version of side plank. Then put the ball where it's barely touching you. And remember, this is that pet ball. You don't want to squish that pet, right? You want to lift up and tap it, lift and tap, lift and tap. And then relax. That tap will be your option if you know the balance work doesn't work for you. If you want to do the balance, that bottom ankle goes on first, top leg goes in front, right? Foot on the ball, and then you exhale, lift it up, find your balance, arm up if you can. Keep lifting that hip. And gently come down. All right, let's do those two things on the other side, please. So again, if you need extra elbow support, please feel free. And then once you're there, protect that shoulder, push it back, lift up out of it, find what you need, come into your favorite version of side plank, put that ball where it's just touching, give it a little tap love, tap love. And relax. And again, you can stick with that one if you know the balance does not work so well for you. If you want to do the balance, remember that bottom ankle goes on first. You leave a lot of space for that top foot, and then bring it on up. Whoops. Bring it on up, maybe. When you're ready to come down, I wasn't ready to come down, but apparently my body was. So come on down, and we're going to come over onto our abs, ball out in front of you. As always, when we're on our abs, we want those legs stretched long, toenails on the ground, hands on top of that ball. Deep breath in. Exhale, press down on the ball. Inhale, squeeze those shoulders back. And exhale down. Deep breath in. Exhale to press. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders. That will roll the ball toward you. Exhale back. Deep breath in. Exhale, press. Inhale, squeeze. And do that a couple more times for me, please. Try and keep the kneecaps lifted, toes pressing into the ground. And last time, we're just going to use that ball for a little bit of support as we go back in our shell stretch. And then we'll put the ball in the center of the mat. Come down with your belly button on the ball, shoulders back and down. And now we're going to lift up off that ball, right? Either pre-plank, front of the thigh plank, or tuck your toes plank. And then the same thing, you don't want to squish your ball, you want to just hover above it, and if you're on your toes, you can roll forward and back. And when you feel ready to come down, come on down, please. And then you can just windshield wiper those legs if that would feel good. My assistant is back, so all is well. All right, you're gonna do that same plank again if you know that the balance for a front plank doesn't work too well for you. Or if you want to try it, ankles or tips of the toe, or fronts of the feet on the ball, hands apart, bring it on up. You can hold the plank or you can give me a little baby pike and then plank it back out. Totally up to you. Again, you can either hold it or give it that little pike. And then take a break, windshield wiper or press back resting position, totally up to you. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring yourself up on that ball again, seated position. Legs are going to be out in that saw position. So we're going to sit nice and tall. Notice if your body has collapsed in the knees, if that's the case, so that you can be tall on that ball. Flex those toes back towards your face. Open those arms. You're going to rotate your left hand towards the right. We're going to use that right arm behind us to reach, left arm to stretch, 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 and then bring it down wherever it lands. Press and twist a little deeper and inhale tall. And your right arm comes forward, left arm stretches and reaches. You're going to give it that hinge, bring it down, give yourself a little extra twist. So we're going to make it a fluid movement. Inhale, exhale, twist, reach. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist, reach. Inhale, tall. Keep it going. One more each way. And center. All right, we're going into the seated twist, which is pretty challenging on the ball. So big toes come together. That's our checkpoint so that we know as we rotate through the ribs that we're not moving the hips, right? So if my feet move, my hips are probably moving. Here we go, arms out. We're going to take that right arm, rotate a couple degrees, exhale, rotate a few more, exhale, rotate a few more. Inhale, come to center. Make sure those big toes are still touching. That's your checkpoint. Now we go to the left. Inhale, center to the right. Inhale, center to the left. Now, if this balance is totally chaotic for you, go back to that wider stance, right? Wider base of support, obviously more, or wider base, more support, right? But if you can keep those big toes together, that's awesome. Next time you go to the right, bend the elbow and push back, push back, push back to the left. Press, press, and press, and relax. Let's roll off that ball. Bring it this time to about your low back, right? You may have to adjust this in a second. Bring your knees in so you're sort of in a little bit of a balanced position, but very supported. You want to keep those knees this close, right? So we don't want them to move away because that belly's going to lift up. Keeping the knees close, go ahead and lift those toes tabletop. Then you get to give yourself some support here. And we're just going to rotate those knees side to side. Option to give it a little can kick when you get to the end. Option, if you can keep those legs close, is that pendulum. Bend the knees, place them on the ground, move the ball back, so now it's between your shoulder blades. All right, so we're just going to rest our fingertips at the edges of our skull and see if our elbows could actually touch or get close to the ground. And that would give you a big chest stretch. We don't, we don't always stretch this area, and it does have a tendency to get pretty tight and collapse and pull us in and round our shoulders. So right now, we're just gonna enjoy that stretch. Then we're gonna tuck the chin, nod the head yes, and we're gonna float so that from your hips to your shoulders to the top of your head, you're just a slight angle, but a nice straight line, not tipping here, right? And then you guys know this, when I'm gonna keep my chin tucked, but I'm gonna lower the head if I don't get vertigo, or if you don't, up and over the ball, keep the elbows wide, so we're not gonna point them to the sky to lift ourselves back up. We're gonna press the ribs into the ball and exhale, lift back up. So it's inhale up and over, exhale to close the ribs. Inhale up and over, exhale, close the ribs. Couple other options, you can actually crisscross and give yourself even more support with the elbows cradling behind the head, not around it. If you want more challenge, you can straighten the arms, create that longer lever. Sometimes when I do the add-ons, I have a tendency to forget what I'm doing though. So just be careful of that. Another add-on would be to lift one knee up in tabletop when you come up. But again, you're not lifting yourself up to it. Another add-on would be to have both legs in tabletop the whole time, and now we bring in a big balance element. So you have quite a few options. And then we're going to finish back in that stretch. And you can choose to support your head or bring your arms out. If that feels like too much cervical tension, move the ball a little higher so you actually get a stretch, but your head is not hanging out in space. And right now I have my palms facing the ceiling at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Then I'm going to rotate the thumbs to the sky, and then I'm going to put the palms down. And now you should feel that kind of in the backs of the shoulders, the top backs of the shoulders. And again, I'm going to rotate thumbs up, and then I'm going to do palms up. Then I'm going to do cactus arms, and I'm going to notice what part of my arm won't rest on the ground. Is it the wrist, right? Can I get the wrist down? If the wrists go down, do the fingers go up? Can I stretch my fingers out so that the fingers and the knuckles and the wrists and the forearms are on the ground? And then I'm going to straighten those arms out, but I'm going to bring them down to sort of 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And I'm going to rotate those thumbs to the sky, palms down, thumbs up, palms up. And then option to go back to that cactus position, or even stretch those arms up more like 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And then go through that thumbs up, palms down, thumbs up, palms up. Do that one more time. Let's slow down at each one. Thumbs up, palms down. Feel that one. You may feel that one all the way down to the back of your wrist. Even I feel it even all the way into my pinky. And then thumbs up, and then palms up. Try and get all 10 fingers on the ground. And then we're going to move that ball out from under us, and we're going to put it under our feet. We're going to let those feet be sort of like bird feet, so the toes go forward and the heels go over the back. Knees together, lift up in your bridge. First option is to just hold this. Second option is to lift your hands up. Oh, good morning. Third option is to put the hands back down so you have some support, and then either lift and lower the hips or roll the ball forward and back if you want some hamstring. Or you could do both, lower, lift, out, in, or lower, out, in, lift. Totally up to you guys. You could do sort of do both at the same time if you wanted. And relax. All right, we have 2 more because we're going to do each leg individually. But if that doesn't work for you, you're going to go back to the same exercise that we just did. Otherwise, left foot goes on the ball, but this time my toes are up in the air, but my heel is down as if I'm braking against that ball. Right knee up in the air, let's lift those hips. So right there is your first option. You're welcome to stay here. You can roll the ball in and out. Or you could extend that right leg up and you could lift and lower. Or you can lift and lower, roll in and out. Totally up to you guys. You can just hold this, you can play with lifting a hand. I don't advise lifting both hands. You may already feel this a lot in that glute and hammy. And relax. All right, let's just do that right leg and then we'll get a nice stretch. Heel down, toes up in the air, left knee here, but if you need it to push off first, that's fine. Otherwise, press, lift, and then again, roll in and out or lift up and down or whatever combo you want to do. And relax. Ooh, let's give those hammies a little bit of love. So one leg in each hand, pull them apart. Take a little rock side to side, getting some low back stretch to start with. And then reach down with your right hand, pull those right toes up and back, put that left foot on the ground for a second. And then right foot down, left foot up. And then again, both knees in. And relax. All right, last one. We're going to bring that ball back where it was earlier between our shoulder blades. We're going to bring our fingertips to the edges of our skull again. And same rules apply. We're not going to bring those elbows wide or up forward like that. So all we're going to do to start with, we're going to exhale. We're going to tuck those ribs so that you sit a little taller. Both shoulder blades are lifted. Just going to rotate to the front. Inhale back to center. Make sure your knees aren't doing anything weird. They're not opening and closing. Just a simple rotation to start with. One more time each way. Good. Little add-on. When you rotate to the front, extend your back leg. And then when you rotate to the back, extend your front leg. I don't think I'm doing that. All right. Stick with that. Or bring your legs off the ground, tabletop, but froggy position. Knees out, heels together. Rotate toward the front, extend the back leg, rotate to the back, extend the front leg. And keep that going, couple more. This is like our crisscross exercise, but modified to hopefully make it harder, but keep both shoulder blades off the ground. And when you finish to the back, go ahead, come on down and bring that ball behind your right thigh. And then press that calf. You could reach all the way down to your ankle, so you're kind of getting a little compression, hamstring and calf, and then rotate at the ankle for me, please. Point and flex. Windshield wiper. Keep the ball where it is, but pull your right toes back. You can use either hand or both hands. We're not doing that full hamstring yet. Just foot mobility. And now we'll go into that hamstring by pulling that ball up against the leg, pressing those toes down and pressing the knee down. Then we'll come back through center. We're going to roll the ball up to the right ankle, point the toes, and then we're going to slide the left leg out, flex through the heel, and then we're going to bend the elbows to lift ourselves up, 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 and we're trying to get the nose and the knee to touch, or as close as possible. And then flex through the heel, come down, bring the leg as much as possible with you. Bring the arms out to the side, lower that right leg, and take a moment to see if maybe that right hip flexor is elongated, that low back a little flatter, closer to the ground. Maybe that right leg feels longer, and then bend that right knee again. Take that ball back behind it, and bring that knee up and over towards your left shoulder. And we're going to work on getting that hip stretch. So we're not twisting as much as we are bringing the knee to the chest and a little bit over. So my right hip is still pretty close to the ground. And then finally, I'm going to cross that right leg over the left thigh. I'm going to bend that left knee and send it in the air. And then I'm going to reach around if that's possible. And just rotate. And then I'm going to close that left knee down. I'm going to keep the ball where it is. And I'm going to twist to the left. And then here we go back through center. Uncross your legs. Let's put the ball behind the left leg. And then again, clamp down at the ankle. Move through that ankle, circling, pointing and flexing. Windshield wipering. And then use your hands, pull those toes back a little bit. And then finally we'll go into that hamstring stretch, pressing that heel up, knee down. And then as you slide that right leg out and flex through the heel, we're gonna roll that ball up the left ankle. We're gonna bend the elbows, lift ourselves up. Our goal is nose and knee. Flex through the heel and bring it down. Arms out into that T, leg down. Feel that left leg hopefully better, feeling better. And then ball comes back behind that left knee. And that knee is going to come to the chest and over a little to the right. To the chest and over a little and to the chest, and really emphasize the pulling into the chest more than the twisting over. And that right leg is going to come up. We're going to thread our needle, or actually we're going around our needle. Opposite of what I do when I can't see, trying to thread that needle. Good, and then bend to both knees, crisscross, drop to the right. And then as you come back through center, arms and legs in opposite directions, however you want to get there. Meet me on your hands and knees, please. Let's undulate that cow-cat. And then we're just going to come on up, press those heels back. Wide stance, nod yes and shake no. Hands on your thighs to a calf and a calf. Big deep breath in. Thank you guys.